Hey baby. Hi bye. Hey.
and using their acceptance speeches to attack President Trump's immigration agenda.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say eyes out.
No one is illegal on stolen land. Our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And I say sorry.
I hope everybody is inspired to join together as a community of artists and speak out against what's going on. And I believe this is safe. Guys.
Immigrants built this country.
I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant.
But not everyone is a fan of the fostering Bill Maher, warning Democrats that Hollywood activism does not persuade voters.
Democrats, it's great you have all the big celebs, but people see them
Are
as
you
an
still on
arm
here?
of the Democratic Party, which they already suspect for lacking common sense. You know, the celebrities mean well, and we thank them for having their heart in the right place, but just do you. Do what you do so well. Use your extraordinary talents for the noble cause of bringing relief from the problems that ribbons and pins can't fix. I know it's very important to you that you feel that you're making a difference, so let me assure you, you are. You're making independents vote Republican.
But it was not all just anti-ice, and Jelly Roll took home the prize for Best Contemporary Country Album and used his time on stage to tell the crowd about his faith.
I believe that music had the power to change my life, and God had the power to change my life. Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him.
I love the cutaway to Aretha McEntire. She's a legend. Okay, probably to be expected at the Grammys, but talking about stolen land, that's almost like on the farthest left of the wokeism spectrum.
So Billie Eilish built a house on the stolen lands. And then she won't let any illegal squat on it. Remember what happened when the illegals came to Martha's Vineyard? They brought in the military to kick them out. The music industry tried to act like they have the moral high ground with immigration. Dana, I watched the Diddy documentary. These people are nasty. And, you know, also they're the cartel's biggest customer. I mean, they do more blow than Charlie Sheen. Watch it. ICE keeps families more together than the music business. Trust me. I mean, 23andMe couldn't even figure out the family trees in that industry. It's not about the policy. It's more about a protest because for 4 years, you didn't see them wearing pins about loving the open border. They just talked about trans and Fauci and Ukraine, whatever was fashionable at the time in order to make themselves feel like they had the moral high ground or feel like they were politically engaged. Liberals run the Grammys like Trump runs the border. You have to show an ID to get in. You have to have merit. And you have to have an invitation. They don't even realize that. But what's really going on is this is a now global music industry. The audience is global. That's where the money is. And everybody downloading is Gen Z and mostly women. So that's the target audience to this anti-ICE message. The people say, oh, you got to respect their opinion. Now, I do respect their opinion, but I don't value their opinion because their opinion is not informed. If I want to hear a great song, I listen to Lady Gaga. If I want to hear about immigration policy, I listen to Stephen Miller, who also has a great voice. What else can Miller do?
Well, hey, we may find out. How important? Does Bill Maher have a point to Democrats when he says, guys, this is not persuasive?
He does. Good to be with everybody. But here's the thing, though. I didn't turn the Grammys on last night looking for political affirmation. If you want that, I turn to Fox News. Anyone watching, you should do the same. If you want to hear some people who are incredibly talented, can sing, can dance, I thought that Bruno Mars opening to the show was unbelievable. I thought Jelly Roll, I was moved. I never really tweeted. I tweeted Jelly Roll. Don't know this guy. What he said was unbelievable. I mean, it moved me in many, many ways, and I hope it moved my policy here at the table as well. The First Amendment, I tell people, Greg gets on me because I remind people the First Amendment gives everybody a right to free speech, but the First Amendment also gives you the right to turn the station. I would advise everybody that gets offended by these people to just turn the channel on. And if you're intrigued and entranced by music, if you're intrigued and entranced by movies, the award shows that's what I'm picking up. And they're fun to watch. But I don't agree with a lot of things they're saying about politics. I sure do love watching Bruno Mars sing, so I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it every year.
And what did you think, Emily?
Well, I did not watch it for that reason. I didn't want to be part of the Nielsen ratings, frankly, and I also don't like to watch great music sort of destroyed by the production and the theater, which is what it is. It's kabuki to me. Today in the elevator, I was writing in a different bank, one of the other corporations here, the other one. And there was sort of like a very young person there that was obviously getting a tour by someone, and they were talking about over here because we were in the same elevator. He was like, oh yes, I did XYZ, and it was just one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I think it was like the only experience of your life. You're 12. And that is exactly the same sort of like flip response that I had to all of these celebrities on stage. When you contrast the sentiment and the experience and the credibility behind, for example, Jelly Roll versus Billie Eilish. I think about how Jelly Roll has been incarcerated for many years. In and out, he was a drug addict. He speaks openly about his criminal history, about his issues with drug addiction. And then he is there telling us about his testimony and about being saved by Jesus Christ and what faith does and how his heart has turned because of faith and worshiping the Lord and encouraging others to find that same freedom. And you have someone that had a #1 album in the whole world by the age of 16, who has so many billions that she can give $12 million to climate change a project alone, who lectures me about stolen land but lives comfortably behind gates and a double-digit $1 million security bill per year, and tells me about what the law looks like, or how I feel safe, how I support law enforcement, or where I'm going to put my money and my safety and my family. And the faith that I have in these law enforcement, the brave men and women who protect us and protect them, regardless of them trashing it, is reflected in the fact that I humbly and quietly don't know everything. But to be lectured by these people whose lives have been buffered and bloated with comfort and with entitlement their entire lives, and how they're going to think their pin's actually going to matter or change something. Have they lobbied legislation? Have they done anything worth of substance whatsoever? She, by the way, was homeschooled in a creative arts household and was born and raised in LA. I forgot to say that when I talked about the entitlement. So the cushion and the petri dish these people exist in, who think they have the nerve to lecture me, I was watching something different.
Are those the pins? What pins were they wearing for the Golden Globes? So they also had pins.
Same.
Oh, be good. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those? The pin industry is doing well in Hollywood.
I don't want to be a hypocrite, Dana, so I have to point out that this show is being filmed on stolen land. This used to be Glenn Beck's studio. I love the Billie Eilish because she managed to be not just stupid on one issue, but stupid on two issues simultaneously. She's up in her game. How can the land be stolen if there is no border?
Right.
So she's absolutely amazing. And Jesse, you're right. She has this massive house on stolen land, and she has to turn that into a casino.
They used to live here.
Because that's the only way forward.
Yeah.
I don't expect her to like move out immediately, but turn it into a casino, let people in. I know she has some stalkers. What's that about? How come she keeps out stalkers? I don't understand this. Not about politics at all. It's about persona. You know, Don Lemon got a standing ovation from them, but it's not about him. You know, because Don is Don. He's an ambulance chaser, but the ambulance is stats. It's the people who give it to him. Why do they give it to them? If you have to understand, they're children. When they're out there, they look like adults, but they're actually children. They don't really have a background that everybody else does. They're frightened, they're insecure, they're really worried about fitting in. So even though they will dress like a rebel, they will embrace any slogan because deep down they fear that their deficiencies will be exposed. They are basket cases. Every person in there is a basket case, worried about their imposter syndrome and wondering when will their luck run out. So what they do, it's amazing because everybody thinks of them as standout celebrities. They will do anything to fit in. which is why they went after Nicki Minaj, because she refused to. And by refusing to fit in, they felt like, oh my God, people can actually see us. They actually can see us for what we are. We're just a bunch of followers and we're terrified. Giving John Lemon an ovation tells you how much they hate you, the consumer. It was the consumer's church, the person in America's church, that he stormed, that he scared those children, but that he tried to sabotage. But they don't think it that way. Their empathy is purely performative and it's not real. But by embracing him, they piss on them. And I love how transparent they are in this subservient stupidity. I love how they did it so quickly. Bat signal. While they were doing that, what was going on? We have the lowest murder rate in history. The ICE found 2,700 exploited children. They located 145,000 missing migrant kids while they were doing Adderall and Pilates. I mean, ICE did more in a few days than they will ever do in a lifetime. In a lifetime. And maybe that's why they're upset. I think that, ICE rescuing all these kids has put a real damper in their pipeline of underage sex workers. Yeah. Do you recommend Adderall and Pilates? You get the entire program done in 10 minutes. Pilates.
Jesus is my new YouTube channel. Okay. Next is Guess Newsom. 2 answer for hard questions. Jesse will answer. Some folks at Vogue apparently think so. He's scared for his children.
Why are so many dogs dying before their time? In my experience, great health starts with great food. That's why I created Badlands Ranch Superfoods, complete that contains powerful canine superfoods that directly support your dog's digestion, skin and coat, mobility, and so much more. And it's air dried. That means cook low and slow, no high heat. We have thousands of 5-star reviews, and for a limited time, get up to 50% off with our special TV offer. Go to badlandsranch.com/TV. That's badlandsranch.com/TV.
Want to choose Sleep Number Smart Bed?
Can it keep me warm when I'm cold?
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
Sleep Number does that.
My size soft care.
My side firmer. Sleep Number does that. Your mind is firmness and having discovered all that.
Thanks.
Can I help us?
Please.
Sleep Number does that.
And now our best deals are off, including 50% off our limited edition mattress, plus 0% interest for 24 months. Check it out at sleepnumber.com or a Sleep Number store near you.
Patty, are you sure here or no?
We want to move with more freedom, so ready to jump in with Skyrizi. Along with clearer skin, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And it's just 4 doses a year, back at 2 starter doses.
Don't use allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi.
When Betty and George turned 50, they figured out that switching 2 unlimited lines from big wireless to consumer cellular could save people up to $600 a year. So they made the switch and started splurging on date night. And it became their favorite night. No, don't you dare. It's the quiet days. If you're over 50, get 2 unlimited lines for $30 each. And right now, get your second month free. Call Consumer Cellular.
Force Factor Hair Growth Accelerator promotes thicker, fuller, healthier hair in just 3 weeks. Hair Growth Accelerator contains a clinically studied key ingredient that quickly accelerates hair growth and reduces fine lines and wrinkles. Search Amazon now for Force Factor Hair Growth Accelerator.
I would not stop balance in nature anyway. There would be no way that Logan wouldn't be able to force me to stop taking it.
Go to balanceofnature.com and subscribe and save today.
Sounding off on ice. From Hollywood actors to Mission pop stars, as the big names criticize, Jesse breaks down their backlash. It's like a must-see first time.
It's happening now through Monday at Rooms to Go. Shop 100 perfect picks, each just $9.99 or less. Picture it, your home, fully furnished in your style, with living rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms, each for $9.99 or less.
So many stylish options, each $9.99 or less. And it gets even better. Finance for as low as $20 or less per month. Interest-free for 50 months. Plus, free four-way delivery. Don't wait. Offer ends Monday at Rooms to Go.
These little movers start with double grip strips. Big moves, even bigger protection. The Chewy owner is on the way for Jaws, who never lets go of what he loves. So Dad uses Chewy to get him everything he needs to keep a loving life. One mouthful at a time, for low prices. For life of pets, there's Chewy.
League's biggest stars on a brand new stage.
Bro, what?
The AFC NFC showdown. Flag football style. One game, all the Celtics. Tuesday at 8 ESPN.
Is already gushing over Greasy. Willing to give these Gavin Newsom a glossy spread profile ahead of his new memoir, which I kid you not, you guys, the first line in the piece says this, quote, I can't even read this out, so let's get this out of the way. He is embarrassingly his hair seasoned with silver, patted with his own eminence as he delivers his final state of the state of us. Story doesn't stop there. The New Yorker praising Newsom for, quote, playing the long game. And the New York Times is insisting that Americans should know that he, quote, struggled growing up. The governor speaking to Bloomberg over the weekend and remaining coy over his 2028 aspirations.
It'll Trump be known in years. He's got a few years left. Even if his state of mind is to extend his term in a competitive authoritarian election like his time of life suggests this term will be up in 30, and that gives us an opportunity to turn the proverbial page.
Jesse, you were invoked going into this idea?
Yeah. So the media is treating Gavin Newsom like a woman.
Okay.
He's got the Annie Leibovitz photo shoot. The women are writing about his hair. He styles it after Pierce Brosnan, we found out. The title of this Vogue article, Gavin Newsom is setting his own rules. That is the headline of a story about a woman. The copy is incredible. He approaches policy as jazzy. He is a sensitive soul. Each day starts with lemon water, and he consumes nothing but fruit until noon. He studied art history in Rome. He puts his dishes in the dishwasher. Gavin is a person with frailties and failings. Here's my favorite line. The late summer sun bathed Newsom in an oh-so-California magic hour glow. And then they compare him to an immaculate blonde doll. So it's a female writer who at one point was upset that he
What we doing for dinner?
during the interview. And the woman managed not to ask him about homelessness. So here's a challenge to Gavin Newsom. The media is going to treat him like a ditzy hot chick and want to sleep with him and then do their best not to ask him any questions to embarrass him. There's another faction the media is going to treat him like the ideal guy for a liberal one. You know, someone who cleans up after himself, someone who cries a lot, someone who's into art, someone who's into wine, those kind of people. And so that's going to be an issue for Gavin. We're going to have a field day, but I'm just pissed because Gavin was made the best Republican. Look at it. Gavin was born in Texas. And that's
Fucking blinched ass, fucking stupid ass bitch.
He's making fun of people like Harold This guy would be incredible. But apparently something went wrong with his brain growing up, and he's a Democrat, and he's just going to have to live with it.
All right, Gerald, you were tagged in.
So I think two things. First, we spend a lot of time talking about this guy. Yeah. And this is a great thing. And the two things. One, that he is going from one, we talk about him all the time. Two, he does the best towel snapping.
He wants attention, just like a wolf.
And we give it to him.
And also, Harold, our show is about political topics.
So, no, but we're not talking about any Democrat.
This is also put in front of us, Harold.
It's great. This is not critical of us. I'm only saying for his sake, he's in a great position. Two, he does the best towel snapping, which I think they both have a little affection from they like one another, and there's an affinity there. But they both know each other's game, and they both kind of like it. The other thing was just kind of the locker room stuff down the field. Now, the third thing he has to get done, Gavin, is the ideas and the answers and be able to show the things he's done in California, how he can apply that to the nation. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of governors and a lot of senators and a lot of congressmen who have such things they've been able to accomplish, but they can't do the first two things this guy's done and that he is doing. If he was doing what he's doing and he gets the third piece right, he's going to be a formidable candidate come 2028.
This is on my block, so I'm putting my tongue. Wait, Greg, you know what I hate?
What?
I hate that the lie, the myth has been perpetuated that he had it hard growing up, that he was poor. No, he wasn't. He was
They funded him, for God's sake. And lemon water? What, does Dawn come over and pee on him? What does this mean? Look, you could always tell how bad a situation is by the extent of the makeover. You know, it's exactly the same thing they did with Joe and Jill when they would profile him as this elegant teen brimming with wisdom and empathy, but it was actually Nurse Ratched kneeling around, Grandpa Walton. Remember Grandpa Walton? Yeah. Little deer. Anyways, and then the
That was good, boy.
Kamala scene, the more they elevated her folksiness, and Tim Waltz, the more kind of Rick Taylor-esque he seemed, the more they talked about his masculinity. Meanwhile, Republicans they're just calling Nazis, or they're not covered at all. That's generally what they do.
Tim Walz.
Shut your dumb ass up.
All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, well, this guy's really terrible. So if he actually had to answer some tougher questions about being governor of Yooo, for example, or all the other things that you also mentioned, I think it would help him a lot. At least he's been willing to meet with a lot of conservatives. He's done several podcasts and shows, not Jesse's, so we're hoping that that's going to happen very soon. But until he does that, he is like the Beto O'Rourke of Kamala Harris.
The reason why I picked on you about that is that people will always say, like, well, we're talking about him. It's like, well, what else are we going to talk about? You know? Like, what do you want to talk about?
I wasn't saying it would have been cool. I think if he gets issues,
Hopefully his campaign manager is looking up, so he doesn't have to worry about. Okay. Apparently, protesting isn't enough. Radical activists are now doxing ICE agents, putting their lives in danger.
For too long, drug cartels have been killing Americans with fentanyl. Hundreds of thousands dead. This stuff is now. Saving lives. President Trump secured the border. Cartels and stops the flood of fentanyl. Taking actions that kept dealers and criminals off our streets. Deaths are down. Every single message. Thanks to President Trump. The message is clear. We will not rest until we've ended the fentanyl crisis to save American lives.
I'm William DeVay. You see the expression, a rising tide lifts all boats? Well, that may be true for both. But
No, boy.
as inflation rises, the value of the dollar sinks. So to help protect my wealth, I buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Roslyn Capital is a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals. Gold bullion, Lady Liberty gold and silver proofs, and premium coins can help you preserve your wealth. Call Roslyn Capital to receive your free Roslyn Guide to Gold, Gold and Precious Metals IRA, and Silver Brochure. With Roslyn, there are no gimmicks, no hassles, and they have fast, reliable shipping. Gold is money. Make gold your new standard.
Call Roslyn Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900. Life is yearly son of a constant tremendous life in the same. Then I started taking Maple Flavor with 60 years of clinical experience. It's the #1 doctor recommended brand for hearing. Now I'm finally free. With Maple Flavor.
These heirloom shoes. We've turned cotton from our family farm into a made-in-America love letter. And one that honors the land with ethical production, employing the skilled hands of American craftsmen. Each timeless piece bearing the red land cotton name is meticulously made to be soft, durable, and a cherished part of your home for years to come. Red land cotton, farmed with luxury for a life well lived. With kids still at home and a full-time job, taking care of mom is becoming a real challenge. I was so grateful to discover these new angels. Mom's visiting angel helps her shower and trust, and she keeps members. And our care manager gives me regular updates. Best of all, Mom has a trusted companion who cares about her.
Think of all the places that could expose you to identity theft. If something provides a U.S.-based restoration specialist with complete start to finish, guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft alone. Join LifeLock today. My dad has never been about a safety. He had a struggle. And it's not that. He had a life trouble. He first in 10 minutes. You can be covered. Your life.
Check your price today at infos.com.
We used Angie and found a pro who was so invested in installing our picture window, he looked after it like it was his own.
When we needed to pick someone to look after our home, we needed to dress.
Install us that window.
Hit the web. Angie, the way you trust, how you want to trust. Total Beats, America's best-selling Beats brand, is available at Walmart. Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews contain a key ingredient clinically shown to deliver 2 times better blood pressure support. Take control of your health. Head to Walmart and get Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews today.
Far-left protesters were belting out the anti-ICE ballots at a Target in Minneapolis as the protests spread nationwide over the weekend. Violent chaos from Portland to LA, and now the radicals are taking things a step too far. According to reports, protesters are using social media and encrypted messaging apps to track ICE vehicles and agents, while hackers have targeted ICE's surveillance arsenal. Leftist foreign agents are doxing nearly 5,000 past and present agents, compiling their personal information on a Wikipedia-style website. And left-wing ProPublica are posting the names of the two agents involved in Alex Freddie's death. Meanwhile, Secretary Kristi Noem just announced on X that effective immediately, DHS is deploying body cameras to every officer in the field in Minneapolis. And it looks like the president's on board.
They generally tend to be good for law enforcement because people can't lie about what's happening. So it's generally speaking, I think 80% good for law enforcement. But if he wants to do that, I'm okay with it.
Emily, the body cams. If we saw what happened after BLM with the body cams, this could also expose the anti-ICers just the same way.
Yes, and I think for those Democrats that need some type of ground extended to them, I think could be an important sign of conciliation and consideration. And also, in many jurisdictions, it was already part of the procedure. So I don't see it as a concession on the part of law enforcement to do that.
Can we please go get something to eat?
I want to make sort of 2 points here. The first is that, as you know, one of the agents was CBP, and we hear from Hollywood and from everyone, right, to ice out and demanding that they are dismantled and advocating for their death and threatening them and their families and the like. Well, it's CBP that is searching for example, Savannah Guthrie's mom. Law enforcement does many different things. And when you advocate foolishly and without any credibility or thought for the extinguishment of an entire group of people that are serving this country, you have zero idea that that's only a part of what they do. And everyone relies on them for so much more than that one.
Bro, what the fuck?
That everyone's harping on. And also, horrifically, when U.S. District Judge Esther Strong was killed, that same year, there was a law passed in her state, rightly so, that prohibited basically doxing judges, that prohibited publishing their information. Just 2 years later, there was a federal analog that was passed doing the same. We don't have one that's against doxing of federal agents. We have a patchwork of laws on the federal side and state side that obviously you can't threaten or impede and use their information to do so. But this is where legislators need to get on board and make it immediately a stiff federal crime to dox these agents. I am tired of seeing toll lines and websites and posters out about if you find anyone's information, send it here, and having that somehow exist without penalty. Someone is going to die, and please God, let it not happen if these guys are allowed to continue doxing these federal agents.
Harold?
Be very brief on this. Peaceful protesting is allowable. Anybody that engages in these kinds of activities, including doxing, including unlawful protesting, should and must be held accountable. I agree with Emily. Federal laws, state laws, we should have a federal law of anybody in law enforcement, for that matter, public office, having these kinds of threats, and for that matter, facing these kinds of things without these people being held accountable. So I couldn't agree more.
And Greg, you would agree that singing any song in a Target should be outlawed.
You know, nowhere near the beauty section. Yeah, it is funny that these are the same people that are telling ICE not to wear masks. That's why they're wearing masks, bozos. I feel like they're trying to bring the band back together. You know, the band that made such a splash in 2020, they're dusting off the old instruments, except they've actually practiced, they've been doxing, they got the donor money, they got the signal chats. They're getting the street theater together. They're bullying, but it's not a band. It's a crime family because what they're doing, it's extortion pretending to be protest. If you vote Republican, it's going to be hard for you to run your business because we're going to be out in front. It's going to be hard for you to get to work because we're going to block the street. And we're going to make your kids like hell at school because we're the teachers and the administrators, and we're going to let them go out and protest everything there is. The weird thing is we're talking about this doxing. It's bad. But you know what bugs me the most? And
dude, I swear to
is the goading. You know, you can't put into the words, but they are goading people. The action isn't a protest.
Look at this shit.
It's not really agitating. They're goading you to do something. It's an action that is designed to cause a reaction that will then escalate into some kind of tragedy or violence that they film. They did this to the Jews on the subways in New York City. Remember the whites at brunch in D.C. during the post-George Floyd stuff? They'd get in front of you, and they just wanted you to react, and then they could, like, do something. Now it's my turn to turn into Jesse Waters.
Shit, mom,
so many women in this and not men.
Lying ass man.
It's impossible to goad adult men. We resist. We remain stoic. The women are easier to goad because they're afraid to be ostracized. So they join in the goading. And I'm talking about these liberal women. It's better to be on the side of the goaders than be the goadee. But when you goad somebody, you will meet consequences because the people above you that want you to goad, they want those consequences. They want you to be punched. They want you to be shot because that helps them.
It's like when children do that, Dana. I'm not touching you.
Yes.
I'm not touching you.
So, everybody had so many great points. I will add a couple of here. One, do you remember Chop Chaz?
Yes.
Yes.
Seattle, so Minneapolis is becoming like Chop Chaz. Like, if the mayor and the governor are not going to do more, then that's what you're going to end up with. And we'll have a little pylon up above that says Chop Chaz rather than Minneapolis. The other thing is, we haven't talked enough about this sheriff in that county. What is it? Hennepin County, whatever it's called. That sheriff there, she is one of the people elected who refuses to coordinate with ICE. Okay, so when the governor says, I'm cooperating, and the mayor's like, what are you talking about? I'm cooperating. We need to do more about talking about who is the person that could actually work with Tom Homan to get this done. And it is her. She is she. So that's
No
one
wonder.
thing. Another thing is, no, it's another one.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, the other thing is, these people got what they wanted in a way.
Did you let me
right?
get that?
They got a change. They got Trump to say we're going to make some changes here, and the Border Patrol left. They all of this signage is all about ICE. All of the dark money groups have all the signage. It's all anti-ICE. What do they have at the Grammys? All anti-ICE. The Border Patrol are the ones who have left. Why did they leave? Even President Trump said Greg Lavina might have been a little bit too out there. Those are his words. So they won on something, and they can't accept that. But they want to make their fellow citizens pay for something. They are the ones being goaded by the dark money advisors that are showing up 10 seconds after Alex Petty was killed with more anti-ICE things. Like, guys, that wasn't ICE. So there's a lot of misinformation and not enough information happening.
Coming in the third inning, not the seventh.
Yeah. You know, Dark Money, that was her stripper name.
Coming up next, why Joe Biden might have been the last Democrat to ever wander around the White House.